It's time for the RotoWire Rundown. I'm Keith Stewart from Read the Line, and I'm alongside two-time DFS Writer of the Year and Senior Golf Writer for RotoWire, Len Hochberg. Len, are you ready for the rundown?
Ready to go at it with you, Keith. Yeah.
All right, well, let's start with the FedEx Cup playoffs. It is playoffs week, right? This week, we're at TPC Southwind. Now, when you start preparing all that award-winning content this week, you're going to put on RotoWire. Give me one skill or stat that you're featuring for the St. Jude.
Yeah, I think it has to be approach play. I mean, there's always a few things that go into it, but it's approach play. It's a long course. There are dog legs. The golfers are going to be back in the fairway for a lot of their second shots. The greens are small, only 4,300 square feet on average, one of the smallest they'll see all year. If you miss the green, you're in a little bit of trouble. If you make the green, you have a huge advantage. So I think ultimately it is approach play this week more than anything else.
I don't know how often this will happen, but I agree with you. But I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to go for par 70 scoring, which is a little bit more of a compilation stat than anything else. Certainly approach plays a part in that. But if you look at the test that we have in front of us, par 70, 7,243 yards, the best guys on the PGA Tour this year at scoring with two less par than that par 72 stereotype course we're always used to. First guy, Rory. Second guy, Xander. Scottie's third. Hideki, Colin. And unfortunately, that guy, Jon Rahm, doesn't rank till number 11. So for me, I'm going to stick with par 70 scoring because that's the scorecard we're dealing with this week. Now, speaking of some of those names, Len, right? The big three seem like they're ready for a playoff run. And who's that? Of course, we got Rahm, Rory, and Scottie. Now, I think because of that par 70 scoring, that somebody like Rory is going to separate himself, not just over the 3 weeks, but if you look ahead, Olympia Fields North Course, another par 70. East Lake Golf Club, another par 70. Two spots that definitely suit Mr. McIlroy. So for me, not just the St. Jude, but going forward of the big three, I like Rory to round out the season. Who do you think?
Well, it's interesting. This week, if you look at Rory and you look at Scheffler, I mean, Scheffler has played this tournament 5 times. He's never finished in the top 10. And Rory had a top 10 the first time he played it, but the last 3 years, no. They both missed the cut last year. They won't do that this year, my bold prediction. Jon Rahm has actually played the best of the three in this tournament. He was 5th last year. He was 7th once before. But talking about getting approach play and greens in regulation and tee to green, all the things, I think for this week, it's just really hard to turn away from Scottie Scheffler, who's just been on a historic pace, tee to green of late. And I think the smaller greens will help him with his poorer putting. Less to go wrong, maybe.
You know, speaking of turning away, right? It seemed like a couple guys got turned away last week at the Wyndham from the playoffs altogether. And one of the biggest stories was everybody's favorite. That's Justin Thomas, or JT. He finished 71st. And I know you put this tweet out over the weekend that you think JT should totally be on the Ryder Cup team. So you got to build a case for me, Len. Why should JT be one of Zach Johnson's captain's picks and he's not in the playoffs?
Yeah, I've been actually saying for weeks, long before he's missed 5 of 7 cuts or 5 of 8 cuts coming down the stretch, that he should be on the team, even though he was playing poorly. Look, Ryder Cup match play is different from stroke play. Ryder Cup is different from even regular match play. Ryder Cup on the road in the cauldron of Europe, where we haven't won. The United States, hasn't won in many, many years. I think it's just different from how you're playing at the 3M Open and the Wyndham and all of that. Great Ryder Cup record, 6-2-1. And one other thing I'll throw out there, he's a formidable pair with Jordan Spieth. If you take away that pairing, you run the risk of losing Jordan Spieth to whoever he's going to be paired with. Is Burns going to handle the cauldron? Is Keegan Bradley, Cam Young? These guys have never done it. Well, Bradley may have done it, but the other two certainly haven't. JT brings a lot other than just how he's playing in the 3M Open.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a PGA professional, it's my association that runs the Ryder Cup. And for years, I feel like we've been making the same mistake. So I'm going to counter you on this one. I can't go with JT. And the main reason is the putter, right? At the end of the day, match play is all about hot putting. And how about a guy that won the match play like Sam Burns? Well, he sits above the list than JT. In fact, there's 2 names above JT. He's 14th on the list, and we only take 12. So Max, Cam, Jordan, Keegan, Colin, who are we pulling off there? Are we going to pull Ricky off that team after a win recently? I don't know. If JT couldn't get in the top 70, there's 44 Americans that are inside the top 70, and JT wasn't one of them, and he's 147th in strokes gained putting. Seems to me like Ricky and Jordan, maybe we need a break from JT for this Ryder Cup. Although I think you bring up a great point. So, folks, thanks for tuning in this week to Len and I for the RotoWire Rundown. If you want to be a better, tune in every week, and we'll keep talking about the things that are most important when it comes to women.